Chechnya has recently banned all music slower than 80 beats per minute and faster than 116 beats per minute. This anyway from a recent decree from Chechnya's cultural ministry. Now this might be a little embarrassing for the Chechnyan cultural minister because the official recording of Russia's national anthem is slower than this, at 76 beats per minute. Chechnya's own national anthem is also slower than this at 78 beats per minute. And perhaps my favorite is that the music that can be found on the official announcement video declaring this policy on Chechnya Cultural Ministry's Telegram, that music is also slower. It's also at 78 beats per minute. Oh, God, I love that. The way that this whole thing was reported in the Western press was that Chechnya's cultural ministry banned music that was either too fast or too slow, which is kind of true, but the way that music cognition, or the way that our brains perceive tempo, and Chechen dance music specifically interact, is a little bit more complicated than that.
My name's Neely VanHandel. I'm Associate Professor of Music Theory and Music Cognition at the University of British Columbia.
I asked Dr. VanHandel why this tempo range of 80 to 116 beats per minute might be considered not too fast or not too slow.
There's been a lot of studies about things like spontaneous motor tempo, where if you just ask somebody to tap at a comfortable tapping rate, they tend to tap around 100 beats per minute. It's the region of what we call maximal pulse salience. So we're most likely to start hearing a regularly recurring pulse within those windows as a beat unit.
So it would seem anyway that the Chechnyan government just wants people to listen to music within this Goldilocks zone that's neither too fast nor too slow. But the problem with that is that Chechnyan dance music is in fact extremely fast. There's this very popular dance in Chechnya and the general North Caucasian region called the Lezginka. Now you can think of the Lezginka as a dance in 6/8, where there are 6/8 notes with an accent on the first and the 4th eighth note, creating 2 pairs of 3/8 notes apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But the dance typically happens way faster than that. Check this out. It's insane. It's like they're dancing to Yngwie Malmsteen licks, like descending sequences in groups of 3, but just shredding so fast. I can't do it. So if we were to assign a BPM to this, this would actually be 240 beats per minute. But later on, you know, the kick drum comes in, and then the kick drum is playing at half that rate. So check it out. In that case, we'd say that the pulse is being felt in halftime at 120 beats per minute. Still technically illegal, but that's okay. You can see Kadroyev, the current leader of Chechnya, dancing the Lezginka in this video right here. So presumably this dance would be okay with the Chechnyan Cultural Ministry. I played this recording to Dr. VanHandel to see how she might react to this pulse.
Yeah. Once it regularizes it there, before I was tapping double time. Yeah. Pulse becomes fast enough. It actually stops being the pulse and it starts being a subdivision. It stops being that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there's actually different levels of pulse salience that are going on. And the reason we talk about around 100 beats per minute as being that maximal pulse salience is because that's where it's most comfortable for us.
You can actually see these different levels of pulse salience in action when you're watching videos of people clapping along to the Lezginka on YouTube. Some people clap at the double time, some people clap at the half time. 2 different ways of interacting with the same music.
Because it's a perceptual phenomenon, it can be different for different people.
The Lezginka is a really fast dance, way faster than house and techno music, but it's usually felt at the halftime, which better fits our brain's preferred tempo, and also this 80 to 116 BPM range, effectively making Kavkaz music, music from that region, so fast that it becomes slow again.
So if something is 160 beats per minute, if they can make an argument that it's really only half that, and it's actually 80 beats per minute, then they're good. They're in the sweet spot.
So if we take a genre of music like footwork, for example, which regularly reaches 160 beats per minute, you could feel it at the slower 80 BPM, which falls within this tempo range. Now, footwork is this fast and exciting form of hip-hop dancing and music from Chicago, and because of the fancy footwork, it at least bears a passing resemblance to Caucasian dances like the Lezginka. So in theory, footwork should be totally fine. It is a fast dance music that can be felt in halftime that fits within this tempo range. But of course, it probably won't be. Because in fact, the spirit of this law is a reactionary one. We must bring to the people and to the future of our children the cultural heritage of the Chechen people. This includes the entire spectrum of moral and ethical standards of life for Chechens. Now, this idea of regulating music based on specific musical characteristics for the good of the people feels downright platonic. Gracelessness, bad rhythm, and disharmony are akin to bad words and bad character. Now, Plato believed that music has real power over us, and people who play music wield power over others. And so it is the job of laws to control that power and make sure that power is only used for good. It turns out to be possible for melodies with a natural correctness about them to be given a firm basis in law. If you could somehow grasp what it was that made them correct, you ought then to have no hesitation into reducing them to law and system. So if you know music theory, if you know what makes music good, you can make a better society. This seems to be what the Chechnyan Cultural Ministry has tried to do. Grasp what makes the Lezginka good and then legislate around it. The halftime pulse of a fast Chechen dance will fall within this tempo range, but foreign music, which I guess might make people bad, like techno, house, and most forms of pop music, does not fall within the spectrum. The problem for the reactionary government being that footwork technically does. Now, Chechnya is not the only place to try and grasp what makes music good and then put it into law. In the 1920s, panic around the moral degeneracy of jazz music led to state and city ordinances attempting to ban it on technical grounds. For example, in Iowa, jazz music was strictly prohibited, and dances must occur at acceptable tempos, much like Chechnya today. To combat rave culture in the 1990s, the UK passed the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act of 1994, banning public gatherings of amplified music with, quote, sounds wholly or predominantly characterized by the emission of a succession of repetitive beats. In protest, Autechre released the EP Anti, with tracks written to be non-repeating, recommending that DJs, quote, have a lawyer and musicologist present at all times to confirm the non-repetitive nature of the music in the event of police harassment. And by the way, the best of my research abilities, I'm pretty sure this law still is on the books in the UK. It's still technically illegal for crowds of people to gather and listen to music with repetitive beats in the UK. So careful out there, guys. Make sure you have musicologists present at all times, I guess. So all this to say is that music theory can and has been used as a tool of government control over musical expression, usually controlling dancing, like raving or jazz music, for example. So in one way, I kind of sympathize with this idea of trying to support Chechnyan music, because this stuff, man, like it goes hard. That's fun, man. I know it's silly party dance music, and I know there's more options out there. I've included a link to Chechen music in the description if you want to check out some more. But in reality, in my experience, if you want musicians to play a music and support it, pay them. The best way to motivate anybody is to pay them, and the best way to motivate somebody to spend their life doing something is to know that there is a future in it. You want to fund state education that promotes traditional Chechnyan music and teaches people how to play Chechnyan music, and then you want to provide funding for concerts which are there to promote Chechnyan music. So musicians know that if they want to study music, they'll have work waiting for them on the other side. Education and arts funding. That's how you promote music. Because if you just focus on banning music that you don't want, people will still play it anyway, and they'll find ways around it. For example, there is a foreign dance music that's very popular that's not techno and house music that you might find yourself having to contend with very soon. Oh, Daddy Yankee!
This is the question that I've been asking, like, whose job is it going to be in the Chechen government to sit there with like their phone and a metronome app and tap along to songs and figure out if this is okay
Are we at that point where we can measure beat perception in the brain with EEGs or anything like that?
Getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there. Yeah, we can kind of see like the oscillations that are in training to a particular pulse if we're hearing it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, are we then going to have to hook up the Chechnyan minister with oscillators to figure out what pulse his brain is in training to?
This is clearly a high priority for everybody to do. I don't know, maybe.